Hey everyone, this is Fulton at Laser, Loot Air Student Radio. This is my music room for what is technically Monday the 4th, but breaking up into some digestible parts because I listened to a lot of music last few weeks. So this episode will cover CDs that I've listened to in the past 2 weeks almost. First off, like always, I'd like to start with a land acknowledgement for the Skagit, Snohomish, and Sklown peoples. Their land I inhabit, I work on it, and I thrive on it. And they haven't been repatriated. Don't get me started. Anyways, first thing, Jeff Buckley, Grace. This is pure rock, pop, solid stuff that is just wonderful. I got turned on to this album my senior year of high school by my 12th grade English teacher, who also inspired me to pursue writing. She was awesome. Shout out to Miss Nelson. But yeah, Jeff Buckley is amazing. Was amazing. Great guitar player, and a beautiful voice. I think that's what most people really gravitate towards Jeff Buckley, but his guitar playing was otherworldly. And Grace really showcases that. Lots of great collaborative songs on here. Definitely a 90s album for sure. If you're a little sappy, this is the one to go to. Also, I'd like to say he was in a band with Danny Carey of Tool, which is really interesting. And speaking of Tool, we'll get to that in a little bit. Up next, Led Zeppelin II. This is a 1994 remaster. That's the first thing I want to say. Loudness War exists. This album is so loud. I believe it's a 94 remaster. That's why I'm gonna have to listen to some different versions. But you know, classic Led Zeppelin II. You know, bluesy but hard rocky. You know, it gets labeled as metal at times. It's by some considered their hardest album. I kind of have to agree. It's just loud. It's so loud. I don't know why. But yeah, you know, it has classics like Whole Lotta Love, Lemon Song, Moby Dick, Ramble On. Like, every song on this album is a classic. It's a hit. What else can I say? If you haven't heard it, it's probably on like 1,001 albums you need to hear before you die. And if you adhere to that stuff, not really a fan. Anyways, Oscar Peterson Trio, Night Train. This is Oscar Peterson's probably most famous album. You know, I really like the album cover. It's a train. Got this the other day. I just keep on buying CDs whenever I go to the thrift store. I'm like, oh, Oscar Peterson, that's great. But you know, like Georgia on My Mind, that's a standard, of course. Great rendition. Not so modal, not so boppy. You know, if you think stereotypical jazz, this is it. One thing I really like about Oscar Peterson is definitely his how he phrases and plays things. It's, you know, Thelonious Monk has that nice jazz, you know, nice mood where he kind of flows all over the place. Oscar Peterson flows, but it feels a lot more shaken up and shooken up. There's definitely a lot of emotion in his playing. That's intense. You know, the fingering is definitely interesting. Speaking of Tool, like I said earlier, Anima, classic 90s prog metal album. All these different things. Danny Carey, Wild Blue Yonders is the band that Danny Carey played with Jeff Buckley in. I just got this to test out my new CD player. It's actually not so new. It's built in 2001, but my last one isn't working so well. So yeah, I got a new one. Yeah, great album. Essential for, you know, if you're trying to get into 90s music, I guess, or definitely alternative. I didn't realize how popular Tool was until they started on streaming services, and I realized that they're a really popular band. I've had the chance to see Tool, which was pretty amazing. But yeah, Anima, it's intense, it's gritty, it's in your face, it's really dark. I believe the guitarist Adam Jones was experimenting with lots of ketamine at the time when they were writing that album, so it's kind of like he's in a K-hole throughout the entire album. Is kind of a mantra that's set and a vibe. And I'm not endorsing doing ketamine while listening to it. Just read some ketamine trips, I guess, on Reddit. Up next, more 90s music. Screaming Trees, Uncle Anesthesia. I really like Screaming Trees. I found out that Josh Homme was a part of them, their live touring circuit, so I had to pull this. I definitely need to listen to it some more. I haven't listened to it enough. It's, you know, Seattle grunge. It's kind of the grunge that gets forgotten, but still pretty popular. It's pretty good. I enjoy it. It's not bad. I have to listen to it some more. it feels a lot more, from what I listen to, it feels a lot more post-punky at times, rather than like the grunge you'd expect from, let's say, Nirvana, where it's actual punk music, or Soundgarden, where it's kind of metal-y, or Pearl Jam, which is kind of more of a classic hard rock twin guitar vibe. Who am I forgetting? Alice in Chains, which is way metal. They were a hair metal band before. But yeah, Screaming Trees, Uncle Anesthesia, mid-90s. It basically just has like a post-punk vibe, like I said. It's not too bad of an album. Up next, I got this for Christmas. Shout out to my aunt and uncle. Greatly appreciate them. American Beauty by the Grateful Dead. This is the 50th anniversary release. Super grateful that they were able to get this for me. Yeah, it has the remaster, which it sounds good. Definitely not as good as the Working Man's Dead 50th anniversary, but it's pretty good. I was mainly intrigued in the live CDs that they added to 1871 at Capitol Theater. I really hope they release all of those on CD, but yeah, great packaging. You know, I got the Steely sticker on my record case. The discs are currently in my CD player, but that's what it looks like on the inside. It has the, you know, the recording notes and stuff, which is really cool. A nice little write-up on the inside. But yeah, it sounds good. You know, the version of Loser on here, I've been learning that song on guitar as well, is great. It's the first version I ever played, so it's way different. Also, Dark Star, Warfrat, Dark Star, massive. What else can I say? The Sugar Magnolia on here sounds really good. Interesting guitar tones. Anyways, Grateful Dead, 50th anniversary, American Beauty. Considered one of the greatest albums of all time, and I greatly agree. Up next, somewhat of a rare CD, definitely lowballed the guy on Discogs, and he accepted, but the Madison II, introducing the Madison II. This is their first release of the twin brothers, Jared and Jonathan Madison. Amazing, you know, they're really young on this album. They had to be at least in their early 20s, maybe emerging out of their teens here. But yeah, it's just solid, straight jazz with their tinges of surf and skating and everything that you would associate with places like Santa Cruz, California, you know, Santa Barbara, Lords of Dogtown vibes, you know, apply those 60s and 70s vibes to this, and then you get people like Ray Barbee. Amazing album. This just gets me really excited. Yeah, if I was to recommend you anywhere, just definitely try Ariar Briar, Britar, and Julie in the Mountain, along with Noon. Those are definitely some standout tracks on that, introducing the Madison II release for me. Can't really say much else. I've been wanting to see them for a long time. They're just a solid duo, twin brothers. They have this connection that's absolutely beautiful. Up next, the guy who sold me the Madison II CD also stuck this Yo La Tango CD in with it. What's it called? And then Nothing Turned Itself Inside Out. Very indie, very edgy, some early Matador jazz. I like using jazz not as a genre, but as a adjective or whatever, an item, a noun. I'm a writing minor. Anyways, yeah, it's a solid album. I mean, lyrics definitely get me real down, but other than that, it's quite fun. I can't really say much else. I need to listen to some more. Songs are a little long. The voices, you know, it's like not one consistent singer, which can be tough for some, but I kind of like it because it mixes things up. But yeah, it's my first experience of Yo La Tango. They're pretty popular. Remind me of Tortoise a little bit of math rock, post-rock vibes. Yeah, but it's, I don't know, it didn't really pull me at anything, and it wasn't really that fun. I was just kind of sitting in bed working on scholarships. Anyways, up next, this is the most early 2090s looking album cover ever, but this is a compilation of Ennio Morricone songs from films. It's great, you know, it got Good, the Bad, the Ugly, The Sicilian Clan, Once Upon a Time in the West, classic Ennio Morricone tracks, and they're just really fun. They're fun to toss on because I feel like this compilation, while, you know, you're like, oh man, I want to listen to more like, you know, spaghetti western music, the compilation does a good job of mixing it up and really showing the diverse ranges of Ennio Morricone. Another person we lost in 2020. you know, it's sad. He was great. And my favorite thing, I can't tell, I'm not that real versed in music, but the person before this, I don't know if you can see that. I guess they have the keys that the songs were in. So, I mean, if they're right, I can just jam to it. And it's a European release. That's why there's commas instead of periods. And that's absolutely my favorite thing in the world as someone who has studied Spanish in the past. Yeah, not much else I can say. Any Omoriconi really speaks for itself. Fun fact for you that are watching this that were in my Holocaust literature class with Professor Kaufman, Ennio Morricone composed the soundtrack to the movie Fateless or Fatelessness or whatever. Yeah, the Emery Cortez adaptation. Emery Cortez wrote the book. Anyhow, next is Chris Isaak. Don't know who Chris Isaak is? I think you're missing out. 80s Elvis plus surf, Dick Dale, amazing voice. This album has the famous track Wicked Game on it, which was made famous by David Lynch. And I forgot what film it was, but, you know, I like David Lynch somewhat. What Did Jack Do? Great movie. Check it out. It's on Netflix. But yeah, you know, it's kind of boppy, kind of rockabilly. It just puts me in a place of happiness and also a little bit of heartbreak. But overall, Chris Isaak just has a beautiful voice, and the Silvertone band behind him is amazing. So tight, so fresh, so clean. And he's still going strong today. He's still releasing music. Definitely have to say Chris Isaak is definitely someone I really respect as an artist. His name's cool too. That's what I gotta say about Chris Isaak. Wicked Game is definitely an essential track for you people trying to make 80s/90s playlists. Up next, Beginnings by the Allman Brothers. Allman Joy Brothers. I believe I showed this earlier. But yeah, this is just a compilation of the first two Allman Bros albums. Getting more and more into them. Still need to dive into some live music because that's what Allman Bros were about. But yeah, has some classics. Whipping Post, Revival, Midnight Rider. Gotta cover Hoochie Coochie Man. Yeah, it's quite alright. I enjoy it. Makes me happy. Not much else I can say about the Allman Brothers. Up next, Primus, Green Naugahyde. This is in a green case because it came with a vinyl record I bought. But yeah, Primus's 2011 release, solid album. Definitely way funkier, way hoppier. You know, Les Claypool describes it as Jay Lane kind of has this hop to his music, to his drum playing, compared to Tim Herb Alexander, or Herb actually, because Herb, the ginseng drummer, it's an inside joke with Primus fans, has a kind of a gorilla-like trudge with his music and with his drumming. Yeah, but yeah, 2011, great album. Definitely have to recommend, like, Hoin for the Man. I thought it was Hoinfod Man. Saw them live, and I was like, Hoinfod Man. Also, Eyes of the Squirrel's pretty good. Lee Van Cleef. Another one off the top of my head I really enjoy is Eternal Combustion Engine. Lur Lalonde wrote it. It's just great. Yeah, it's kind of ADHD driven, if you ask me. It really just makes me want to jump around the place and have some fun. Up next, first of two Henryland releases, Roland's Band. Wait, 1994. Essential alternative metal album to critics. I'm not considering myself a critic, but if you want to kind of dig past bands like Tool or Rage Against the Machine, you know, those guys who definitely changed the shape of music in the 90s, Roland's Band is where to look. You know, their frontman is, of course, the legendary Henry Rollins. Definitely one of my heroes. I just like his work ethic. It's something I really just strive to be. He's right there. But yeah, this has some classics like Disconnect and Liar. But man, every song on here is just intense. It's heavy. It's a lot of catharsis, which I really enjoy. Great album. And the band backing Henry Rollins is no joke. They are tight as heck. I don't really know what else I can say. It was a very formative album for me, my freshman/sophomore year of high school. You know, Henry just hops on that invisible surfboard as the YouTube comment that I always like to reference it. and it's just so intense, it's so cathartic, and to me, it just showcases strong work ethic, in and out of the industry. Henry Rollins is just, he's a spooky guy, but not really spooky. That's about how I can say it. Just watch an interview with him in the 80s where he says he's angry. Anyways, final Rollins band released Waiting. This is kind of a rare CD. It was put out by Rollins' independent label. But this is a bunch of outtakes, soundtrack cuts, B-sides to the aforementioned Wait. And we waited for it for 9 years. But yeah, it's a great album. It has some live cuts on it, which are wonderful. You get to see the Rollins band in full effect. A massive sound that I couldn't even imagine. But what I really enjoy are tracks 4 through 7 with 4 through 7 with Charles Gale. He's a saxophonist, kind of a street saxophonist. Has some Tom Waits vibes if you read into his career, but not like super like dingy. More of like, this is real shit. Excuse my French, but like he's been through a lot, and like his whole career arc is it's intense. It's something that makes me feel fortunate for the security I had in my life. But yeah, those tracks, you can only find this on YouTube, but those 4 tracks, what are they? Let's see what we have here. They're called Miles Jam No. 2, Plague, Night Sweat, and Jam No. 1. I think Henry Rollins tries to do jazz poetry, but it's ultimately punk poetry, with free jazz tendencies mixed with metal and hard rock backing him. It's really, really thought-provoking, and it makes me quite uneasy, honestly. I was laying in bed listening to it on, what day? It wasn't Christmas Day, it was, December 26th, and I was laying there. It's the first time I listened to it, and it was just really intense. I was just getting hit hard. It's unrelenting, the intensity of those tracks, and how far the band really extended. So yeah, Waiting, Rollins band. Definitely check it out. It's on YouTube. Someone's uploaded it there. But let me know if you'd like the files, if you're interested. So yeah, this has been Fulton with Laser through Air Student Radio. I'll be posting this Tuesday morning, so when you see this, it'll be really early in the morning because I got work. But yeah, how's everyone doing? If you made it this far, what's up? I hope you're doing all right. I appreciate it. But, you know, these aren't for the views. It's just for me to share my love of music with all the people in this world. And anyways, yeah, I'll see you around. This is Fulton at Laser, Lou Air Student Radio. Part 2 will be coming out Wednesday. I'll be recording it Tuesday. It'll be a little awkward again. But yeah, hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their break and can find some time to just enjoy what you have, love each other, and just try to find some peace amongst the chaos. And if you aren't wearing a mask, I think you are a total... Not gonna say it.